Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, we're looking at a black piece of card and nothing on it. Guys, I've bought a few 10mm from Pendraken. There's their website should you wish to go over and take a look. Some 10mm ACW, and this pack is ACW 12. They're all... Let's see if we can get this light down, a bit of light. I'm obsessed with lights at the moment. See these new lights, you get to shop. I've only got the one on today. It lights up the subject and you get a nice tan at the same time. You don't have to live in Florida like Tom. Right. I know what you're thinking. For you guys, either my modelling buddies out there or people that don't do 10mm, you're thinking, how far away are they? Then a little joke there, eh? It comes to when you laugh at your own jokes. Now these are 10mm. My favourite way of measuring them, especially when I've got a brew on the go, is to a Cadbury's chocolate finger. And as you can see, Cadbury's chocolate finger, 10mm, pretty small. These are in, I don't know if they're all in the right shoulder shift position. I would imagine they are on this one. No, they're all over the shop because he's not really fussed. I tend to mix them all up anyway, to be honest with you fellas and fellarettes. I usually mix them up. If you go to some of my other 10mm American Civil War videos, I also did a how to paint, or how Gav paints, and that's wrong, I'm telling you how to paint, but you know how I do them. Going to be a bit of glare off these, fresh out the bag, nice and shiny. You always get a tiny bit of little stubby bayonets and a bit of flash on the end. You will get mould lines on these like any other figures. You also usually get with these guys a bit of chunk on the bottom that just needs cutting off. Again, they don't look a great deal under nice bright shiny lights. £26, Amazon. I keep going on about it. What a find. There we go. Vision port there. Right, so you can see usual canteens. These are all, as I say, Confederates. I'll be painting these up as I haven't looked into it yet, but I shall be naming these after one of the Arkansas regiments. For my good Mara Sean, I don't think he was expecting them so short. I do believe they do grow them a bit taller in Arkansas, but these are going to be some Arkansas boys. There's different forms of packs, which I tend to mix them up. So you know, I painted, like you've got those rubber packs, the vulcanized rubber, whatever they call them, that the Union had. I usually mix them up. I throw some Union colour trousers in there as well. They haven't had time to dye. Obviously mix the hat colours. You'll see all these guys pretty well for Gav pretty soon. In other words, any time in the next 6 months. But no, they're cracking little figures. And as I say, I bought that, so that's pack number 12. I bought these just to pad out those others. It's just a project I have on the side, like my League of Augsburg. Now I've got the lights, so I might well do. I know it's a bit, you know, asking a lot to show another video, or asking a lot of you guys to watch another video of those League of Augsburgs, but I might do another video. I'm going to ask my wife, she's off this week, to see if, not with coronavirus, just standard holiday time. Her company's asked her to take holiday as normal, so she is. And while we can still get to the shops, as in case they actually get shut down in this country apart from food shops, she will, I'm going to ask her to see if she can get me some type of tablecloth. I can't afford one of those big wargaming cloths, not at the moment particularly, so if not, I'll just show them again on the table. But these guys I think are advancing, and this is pack number 7. And they're all very nice for me. I'm quite happy with those. As I say, there's only so much you can do in 10mm, and most sculptors usually make a decent job of them. You know, it's always a bit of a catch-22. You know, trying to display the different webbing materials and stuff, canteens and things on these guys without making them too chunky. And there's a mixture again, KP or Kepi. I'm not a big fan of it's something with war game figures in general. It's always got bayonets on, and yes, these are in the advancing, but I always read, they didn't use the bayonet that often in the American Civil War. They tended to obviously blaze away at each other and then club each other with a musket, and the bayonets tended to be used as a toasting fork. But no, that's my boys for the advancing pose, which is pack number 8. Because there was a 2, I think, advancing. You can get a 7 and an 8, I think. So again, mix them up. I believe there's 2 poses per pack. I'll probably keep the bayonets on because they're on, but as I say, I'm not that fussed at all the bayonets that they have on them. Again, they look a bit rough and ready, but once you've got some paint on them, believe me, they come up quite well. As I've said on my little painting videos, and when I showed the League of Augsburg, I tend to paint them up fairly bright. We'll go to a command pack now. This is 16. I tend to paint them fairly bright. I mean, my advice to anybody doing 10 mils is use brighter colours than you normally would do. It takes a bit of getting used to, but you just need to lift them slightly with quite bold highlights. I tend not to use metallic paint. I usually use some light sky grey, say, for a bayonet, and maybe with a wash of turquoise or something over the top just to blue it up a bit. You can use, obviously, metallic, but it's the flecks in the metallic are huge for this type of size. Again, drummers, as far as I'm aware, would normally be put back to pick up casualties. Now, I'm not sure if the actual head shed himself, the colonel, would have a drummer with him or not. So you often find that in American Civil War packs, where quite often the drummers weren't always actually on the firing line. Again, it looks a great big chunky sword, that, but again, when you put him in with all the rest, it's not that bad. And you don't want it too thin at this scale. Because I mix my figures up and I usually put them 6 to a base, I've just put them the same base numbers as the League of Augsburg figures. I often run out of command elements, especially colour bearers. And what I'll normally do is get another figure that is in a running pose or a standing, whatever pose you like. I'm just trying to think if there's anything in these other ones I've shown you that we can get away with saying. I don't know, say this guy here, come on, focus, sorry about the grubby nails, guys. Yeah, something like that. You could always just hack that off, make a rough, it's a bit small to take a pin vise drill, so I'll often, if I can't drill it, I'll often just cut out very slightly the inside of the body slightly, and then use a pike that you can get pike sets from Pendraken for obviously English Civil War and things like that, and I just stick one of those in and use that as an extra, because you do often find you run out of colour bearers. Although I believe the Confederates only had one guy rather than 2 colours that saying like the British would have. So that's your command. And then the last one, I've got some, I think these are supposed to be, this is bag 36, and I think these are supposed to be ADCs, and I wasn't sure to use them as mounted officers for the battalions. I know that quite often they'd be on foot, but they'd also be mounted as well, a senior officer. So what I normally do, again, just as a bit of a mix, I'll put the odd mounted officer. He's obviously got his binos there. And let's have a look at this guy. Come on, guys. We've got a guy saluting there as they were taking Yeah, saluted. KP on. So you could quite easily put him as a mounted senior officer of that battalion in your unit, just to break up your units occasionally, or just use them as they're supposed to be, as ADCs. But yeah, you can use these as ADCs, brigade commanders or whatever. So that's my purchases from Pendraken. There's not a lot. I think it's about 20 quid's worth there. I was just getting a few things in with the eye of the big coronavirus going around. I mean, not as if I haven't got enough soldiers to paint, but I just fancied getting a few extra in for my ACWs, and just to bulk up some units I'd already pre-painted, but not based because I'd run out of particular figures. So yeah, guys, that's some 10mm. You'll be seeing those popping up even on the channel in the next coming weeks and months. So you take care of yourselves. If you fancy some 10mm, Pendraken are the way to go. I've always had decent service off them. I'm not connected in any way to the company. Obviously I've bought these myself. But again, shout out companies that do decent service. I've never had a problem, and you know, the figures on the whole have been very, very high quality. So take care of yourselves, guys. Keep your heads down in these dark times. Drink a brew, munch a Cadbury's chocolate finger, and let it all pass you by. Take care, guys.